What's up, dogs? Nyctopluvo, and I love Pikmin. So, I thought it's about time I started bringing some Pikmin content to the channel. So here we have the top 10 non-boss Pikmin enemies. I feel like everybody always talks about Pikmin bosses. So for once, I'm thinking, let's talk a little bit about some non-boss enemies, because there are a lot of enemies in this game, and I think a lot of them are really cool. And there will also be a top 10 Pikmin boss video coming out next week, but for now I'm going to be talking about the top 10 non-boss enemies. And just a little disclaimer before we start here, this is my personal top 10 list, so if it doesn't match up with yours, well, you can just go blow rocks, you freaking cannon beetle larvae. That's right, guys, we got bad jokes in this video, so strap in, because here we go. At number 10, we have the peckish aristocrat, which is a Pikmin 3 exclusive enemy, and the reason the aristocrat is so cool to me is that it has a very unique defense mechanism, as it can blow bubbles which will trap your Pikmin for a short period of time, and it deflects all the Pikmin you throw at it with its one claw arm, which you could actually break if you throw rock Pikmin at it, rendering it attackless and practically defenseless. Yes, right, what are you gonna do now, you punk-ass onion? At number 9, we have the Red Bulborb, who is a classic Pikmin enemy, and probably the most recognizable. He's on the cover art for Pikmin 1, and the first time I saw that cover art, I thought he was the main character of the Pikmin games, because he's the most prominent character on the cover. And he's also appeared in other games like Super Smash Bros. As a map hazard. And I think overall he's just the only enemy you could show people that don't know anything about the Pikmin franchise, and they might be like, oh, is that the one thing from Pikmin? And you can even play as a Red Bulborb in the Pikmin 2 menu screen by pressing X, and then you can control it with the C stick and eat all the Pikmin off screen with the Z button. It's actually really cool. At number 8, we have the Fury Blow Hogs, which are another classic Pikmin enemy type. They're not as recognizable as the Red Bulborb for people who haven't played the Pikmin games, but if you have played a Pikmin game, they're in every single one. And they're kind of just like these little fire-breathing pig boys, and they're kind of useless against red Pikmin, and then vice versa with the watery Blow Hog. They're useless against blue Pikmin. But I always admired these guys. That I always thought they were a cool enemy. And if you're in the rusty metal type of cave in Pikmin 2, they can easily just throw your Pikmin off into the abyss with their defense mechanism, which is, they just toss your Pikmin forward in front of them, and then they would blow, fire on you. But in the rusty metal type caves, they can easily be facing towards like the side of the map and then just throw your Pikmin straight off. And another thing I never understood why they didn't do, but I think would be a cool idea for the future games, is like if they bring back like white Pikmin, there should be like a poison Blow Hog that blows poisonous gas. And at number 7, we have the Honey Wisps, who are a passive creature who are really interesting because they show up out of nowhere carrying nectar, making these high-pitched and really cute, honestly, like little cries. And if you knock them out of the sky, they'll disappear, dropping their nectar, which you can use, to have your Pikmin drink and become flower Pikmin, which are the fastest Pikmin, so of course you kind of want to attack the Honey Wisps, despite how cute they are. And I always like them because they always seem to show up in the caves. Like, when you saw them in the caves in Pikmin 2, you would automatically know that that was a peaceful sub-level where you would just, like, recover, get your Pikmin to have flowers, and then later in the game there'd be the candy pop buds that would, like, give you more Pikmin than you would put into it, so you just throw like one Pikmin in, you get 5 out. And it always just like, as soon as you saw them like flying around, you're like, oh, thank God, the last sub-level was rough, and now I get to recover. at number 6, we have the bread bugs, and oh man, the bread bugs. As soon as you see either one of these guys or their nests in Pikmin 2, you know it's a race to get all the treasure before these pesky little scavengers do. And the only way to kill them is to win an epic battle of tug-of-war against them. But you know, if they steal all the items in the sub-level, well then you're gonna have to return to that sub-level another time and try again. And you know, they're a little bit annoying, I'll be honest with you, but as annoying as these guys are, they added an extra challenge to the Pikmin games that I always appreciated. At number 5, we have the Cloaking Barone, and the Cloaking Barone is a beetle-like enemy, and you know, they have this soft spot on their face, which is the only place they can be attacked, and they have a hard shell all around. And honestly, the only reason I think I could say that I like this enemy is it was the only enemy I was extremely confident about beating up as just the captains, no Pikmin, without taking any damage. At number 4, we have the Skitter Leaves, who are also a non-aggressive Pikmin enemy type, just like the honey wisps. And the Skitter Leaves literally just look like leaves up until you approach them. They get up and start running around, which I always thought was really cool. And they just have this, I like the design of them, that they're just like these like little leaf monster, and they actually have like leaf feet in addition to like their whole leaf like body structure. And they also make this really cool noise when you kill them. Like it's like this little dinging bell noise that I thought was really cool whenever you killed them. Not that you ever really had to, but when you did kill them, it just made that cool noise, which made it extra satisfying to kill them. At number 3, we have the Spotty Bulborb, which is similar to the red Bulborb, but unlike any other type of Bulborbs, the Spotty Bulborb is the only Bulborb that hunts, and is probably the most aggressive enemy in the Pikmin games. And if you happen to see one on another side of the wall in like a cave in Pikmin 2, just know that he is coming, and he will find you. And they never travel alone, they always travel with 2 dwarf Bulborbs. So if you see just the Bulborb himself, just know he's got like a small pack with him, and it's just gonna end up being a big fight, and you probably will lose Pikmin. At number 2, we have the Water Dumples, and the Water Dumples kind of look like these like little slug dumpling looking like enemies. They don't really have any eyes, which I always found very like kind of creepy and fascinating, and really they kind of just act like Bulborbs, but like they're these water creatures, and they can actually follow you outside the water. But I always thought they were really cool, and they have like this cool like little grunting noise they make when they lunge at your Pikmin and grab them. And finally, at number 1, we have the Weevils, and the Weevils are like bread bugs, but unlike the bread bugs, when they steal objects, they don't really do anything with them. They kind of just hold on to them. There's also like a couple different types of them, like with different elemental attacks depending on their color. You know, like the red ones have fire attacks, blue ones have water, yellow electricity, purple poison. They are also kind of harder to kill because they have their like really thin torsos that you have to like get Pikmin to like latch onto to actually attack them. And probably one of my most favorite parts about them is they have like some of the stupidest AI in the game, and they'll blatantly walk off the sides of like the rusty metal caves and kill themselves. But you know, like, no need to fear, because if they were holding on to like an important treasure item, that item will just drop back on the map. And I was just like always had a good laugh when I see like a Weevil carrying something. They just like casually just walk off the map and kill themselves. And there it is, guys, my top 10 favorite non-boss Pikmin enemies. Let me know down in the comment section below, what are some of your favorite non-boss Pikmin enemies, because I know there's a lot of enemies that I missed that are also like really cool. I think like most of the enemies in the Pikmin franchise are like very interesting. I think maybe with like a handful of exceptions, most of the enemies are really cool. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and join me next week as I'll be talking about the top 10 Pikmin bosses. But until then, bye bye.